Bungie might have just confirmed one of what was thought to be the coolest cut features from Marathon, and they did it with the next post. Marathon is just around the corner, and Bungie really are pushing the marketing train forward. We're getting Vidocs, we're getting clips, we're getting posts. Everything is starting to flow. Today I want to focus on one post specifically, and if you've been following Marathon for a while, this one will hit different. When Bungie first talks about Marathon, there was a huge emphasis on what was called the race to discovery. The idea was simple, but incredibly ambitious. There's going to be hidden areas, secrets, bosses, entire areas that were inaccessible until someone completed a puzzle or solved a riddle or did something to unlock it for everyone. Not through a menu, not through quest markers, but by purely stumbling across something awesome and trying to figure it out. It could have been hints hidden in text files, it could have been hints hidden spread across the world, it could have been items that just seemed like they fit somewhere, or it could have been a complete accident. And if you were the first one, your name would be etched in Marathon history, your runner's legacy would be built on, and your achievement would actually matter. It would change the game world for everyone. To me, the race to discovery and the idea surrounding it was one of the coolest things about Marathon. And I know this was really early, but when I first heard that, it blew my mind, the thought of it. Not dissimilar from Destiny players when they flock to a raid. They're not just there to beat it, they want to be the first ones to do it. They want to race to be the first ones to clear that raid. The main difference there though is the scale. When you complete a raid in Destiny and you're the first ones to do it, that is a huge achievement. It really is. But imagine stumbling across a note or an item or all of our favorite runner's helmet, and it leading to you discovering something bigger. And imagine you were the first one to find it, you cleared it, and all of a sudden this whole new area unlocked, not just for you, for every player in the game. You wouldn't just be completing content, you would be changing the game world. Unfortunately, we found out quite early on that this had been whittled back or cut completely, purely because the scope of the game had to be focused and it was just too big and too ambitious, realistically. Text about solving raid-like security measures to enter Vault 7, and well, all of the vaults, but I want to focus on Vault 7. I noticed it, didn't think much of it, purely because the scope of the game had changed and they're under no obligation to change that flavor text until now, when they're pushing for marketing and people really are paying attention to that stuff. Now, the recent post literally says, Cryo Archive is locked at launch. Once the way opens, bring your endgame build and solve raid-like security measures to pillage frozen vaults, breach the 7th vault to challenge and NC even the UESC fears. That's not vague. That is almost word for word what it says on the Steam page. It strongly suggests we're getting some pretty cool endgame content, we're getting raid-like mechanics, and areas unlocking over time. Now, admittedly, it doesn't mean that players are necessarily unlocking these through discovery, like the original vision, but it does mean that Marathon hasn't given up on the idea entirely. The clip itself is mostly environmental shots of Cryo Archive, ending with a brief glimpse of what looks like a compiler, which I'm assuming is the entity waiting inside Vault 7 that the UESC fears. This isn't Bungie reverting back to their original massive vision, but it is a piece of it remaining. And that's important because it can be seen as a test. If players love that kind of content and Vault 7 really does hit, all of the vaults hit and it's something we keep returning to, there is no reason Bungie can't expand on that idea. More vaults, more mysteries, more moments that feel more important than just dropping in, looting and extracting. The more I see coming out about Marathon these past couple of weeks, the more excited I get, and I truly cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of content in Marathon. What do you think of raid-like vaults, mysteries, and bosses inside of Marathon? Is this content that you feel like you would come back to? Is this something you're hoping they build on? Because I know I am. And other than that, I'll catch you all in the next one.